Okay, so you want to own a laundromat. You picture a quiet room, humming machines, a few dollars sliding out of every wash cycle, dryers running back to back with nobody behind the counter. On paper, it looks almost too simple. Buy the machines, rent the room, collect the money while customers do all the actual work themselves. If you only looked at the margin on a single wash cycle, laundromat ownership would seem like one of the easiest, most forgiving small businesses left in America. The problem is that a laundromat is not really selling laundry. It is selling something much narrower and much more fragile than that. It is selling the absence of a washer and dryer somewhere the customer already lives. And that is a far more precarious thing to build a business on than most first-time owners realize, because the moment that absence disappears, even quietly, even slowly, the economics begin to change whether you notice or not. The rent does not care. The gas bill does not care. The loan on the machines definitely does not care, but the neighborhood does. And once the neighborhood's housing stock changes, even a little, the money tends to follow it out the door. This is the first lesson. You did not buy a truck with a tank on it. You bought a mobile utility system, a permitted hauler, a regulated commercial vehicle, and a cash flow machine, all riding on 18 wheels. And yet the basic idea behind this business is almost as old as commerce itself. Long before municipal pipelines reached every property, water carriers hauled barrels by cart to households, construction camps, and mining operations that had no other source. The economics were identical then to now. Water is heavy, water is essential, and water does not move itself. Someone has to physically bring it to wherever the demand is standing. The vehicle changed from a horse-drawn barrel cart to a diesel tanker. The economic idea never did. Do not wait for a site with no water source to find a solution. Bring the water to where the work cannot happen without it. Modern demand runs on the same principle, just distributed across more industries. Construction sites need dust suppression and soil compaction. Municipalities lease tankers during water main breaks. Agricultural operations need irrigation supplementation during dry stretches. Oil and gas sites need water for drilling operations. Fire departments contract standby tankers for wildfire season. Drought years turn residential and pool-filling delivery into a genuine seasonal business line. Industry estimates place the broader water hauling and trucking services market in the billions annually in the United States alone, and that number climbs sharply in any year with meaningful drought coverage. That growth makes the opportunity look irresistible from the outside. But standing beside your truck after the morning run, hose still dripping, you realize the real question was never whether demand exists. It is how much money you have to risk and how much regulation you have to survive before you can deliver the first gallon. And tomorrow the invoices arrive anyway. The truck was supposed to be the affordable way into the trucking business. That is what you told yourself. A used water tanker, tank and chassis together, runs somewhere between $110,000 and $180,000 depending on tank capacity and truck condition. Not cheap, but still far below building a fixed water infrastructure business from scratch. Then you discovered that buying the truck and making it legally operable were two different expenses. DOT compliance inspection, brake and axle certification, and commercial registration added several $1,000s. A functioning spray bar and rear cannon system for dust control work, if not already installed, added another $8,000 to $15,000. Backflow prevention equipment, required by most municipal water suppliers before they will let you fill from a hydrant at all, added another few thousand. Your CDL license with the appropriate tanker endorsement, plus required drug testing enrollment and DOT medical certification, consumed time and several $100s before you were legally allowed to sit in the driver's seat. Insurance for a commercial water hauling operation required a substantial initial premium, often several $1,000s before your first load. GPS tracking, load metering technology, and basic dispatch software added another few thousand. Then came the deposit for hydrant meter access, the permit applications specific to your county and state, legal review of your municipal water purchase agreement, and the working capital set aside to survive the slow weeks before contracts became predictable. Total cost before your first paid load, commonly somewhere near $165,000. You had $55,000 in savings. You borrowed the remaining $110,000 at roughly 9% over 6 years. The monthly payment lands near $1,950. Over the full term, you repay considerably more than you borrowed. But the interest is not the part that should frighten you. The certainty is. The lender gets paid whether you haul 40 loads that month or 4. Every month begins with obligations already standing in line. Around $1,950 for the loan, several hundred for hydrant meter rental and municipal bulk water fees, even in slow months. Commercial insurance premiums that do not pause because business is quiet. DOT compliance fees, drug testing program enrollment, permit renewals averaged across the year. Tank cleaning and sanitation certification, required periodically if you ever haul potable water for residential or drought relief contracts. Before you have fueled the truck for a single job, your fixed monthly obligations can sit anywhere between $4,500 and $6,500. That changes how you look at an empty week on the calendar. A quiet week is not simply slow, it is actively expensive. You also learn quickly why spending every available dollar on tank upgrades and chrome is dangerous. A gleaming truck looks like the business, so it feels productive sitting in the yard. Cash sitting untouched in an account looks inactive by comparison, but cash buys time. It covers the loan payment during the week a construction client pays their invoice 45 days late. It replaces a blown air compressor before it strands you on a job site. It carries you through the county's seasonal freeze on hydrant fill permits. Undercapitalized haulers rarely fail because nobody wants the water. They fail because the owner built the machine and left no oxygen for the business breathing inside it. Then there is the water itself, and the loss hiding inside every load. A full tank is rarely a fully sellable tank. Sloshing during transport, minor leakage at valve connections, and the water used to flush lines between different job types. Non-potable dust control water cannot simply follow potable delivery water through the same unclean system, all quietly shrink what actually reaches the customer. Suppose you load 4,000 gallons. Line flushing, minor loss, and unbillable priming water at the start of the route can consume 150 to 300 gallons before a single customer receives any. That water did not vanish from your cost. It quietly made every gallon you did deliver more expensive to produce. This is why chasing every type of contract becomes dangerous. Portable delivery requires food-grade tank certification and regular bacteriological testing. Dust control water does not, but running both out of the same truck without rigorous protocol between switches risks contamination liability that can end the business in a single incident. A tank permanently split between contract types can force you to underserve both markets at once. Then a municipality calls with a real contract. Standby tanker availability during a scheduled water main repair, $3,200 for the day, guaranteed regardless of how many actual loads you run. A deposit clears before you commit the truck. The guest count, so to speak, is fixed. The scope is defined before you turn the key. Waste falls because the job is planned. Travel is scheduled. Demand does not depend on which construction sites happen to call that morning. Spot dust control work is speculative. A standby municipal contract is scheduled for production. The certainty carries real value even when the headline number looks smaller than a chaotic day of frantic dispatch calls. But accepting that contract means the truck is unavailable for anything else that day. A single tanker can only be in one place. A guaranteed municipal day may produce steady, dependable revenue while a nearby construction site, desperate for same-day dust control before a county inspection, calls someone else instead. Every booking replaces another possible booking. Every mile replaces available capacity. And eventually your real constraint is not demand at all. It is how many loads one truck can physically complete before the fill station line, the drive time, and the DOT-mandated rest requirements eat the entire working day. At your current route, you can complete 5 full loads a day within a reasonable radius. At roughly $650 average revenue per load, That is $3,250 of daily capacity. Then you renegotiate your fill station access, securing a private well agreement that cuts your loading time nearly in half compared to waiting behind other haulers at the municipal hydrant. Your achievable loads climb to 7 a day. At the same rate, that is $4,550, an additional $1,300 of daily revenue with no second truck. No new employee, just a faster fill point. Then the transmission overheats on a Tuesday afternoon, 40 minutes from the yard, fully loaded, on the way to a job that starts in 20 minutes. The tow costs $650. The repair estimate is $9,000. But the repair bill is only the visible damage. Tomorrow's standby municipal contract is now at risk because you have no backup tanker and the agreement